Right, hello, good morning, and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Tuesday, the 14th day of May 2024. By His grace, we're live and we're here. We're at another edition of the show. Our gratitude to go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Atlantic Lithium list on Ghana Stock Exchange. First greenfield company on Ghanaian bourse. Push for SMEs growth. President tells governments at 3i Africa Summit. African Prosperity Dialogue's third edition launched. Continent charged to invest in infrastructure. The Ghanaian Times. Update on limited voters registration. EC captures 251,149 in 6 days. Average of 45,000 per day. Dr. Asari. President Akufo-Addo confers Ghanaian citizenship on Stevie Wonder. Ghana earns $3.9 million from non-traditional exports in 2023. Redevelopment of growth from market saga. Fidelity Bank sets record straight. Please warn public against electoral offences. Daily Guide. Rousing welcome for Bawumia and home region. Stevie Wonder granted Ghanaian citizenship. Samuel Oku supports Akropong students. EC registers 251,149 new voters in 6 days. Nana pushes for Africa's digitalization. The New Crusading Guide. Government targets financial sector growth. Finance Minister. Third Africa Prosperity Dialogues focuses on promoting infrastructural development. Socialist movement consoles Brazil flood victims. Peace Council sets record straight on Asiedu Nketiah's allegations. EC rectifies errors in voter registration figures. Samuel Oku supports Akropong students with learning materials. The Insight. Socialist Movement Ghana sympathizes with flood victims' MST community in Brazil. Cecilia Daper's woes not over as Adam Bona urges Parliament to probe Yoko over stolen cash. Woman 30 and daughter to stage demo against Nana Grada over alleged stolen gold. Angel Smile Foundation puts smile on faces of women to mark Mother's Day. Ultramodern Darul Hikmah Islamic School commissioned in Tuba. The Daily Statesman. Unlock policy barrier holding us back. Akufo-Addo charges African leaders. APD 2025 to tackle continent's infrastructure gap. 7 potential developers show interest in Saglemi project. Jinapo Lord's listing of Atlantic Lithium on Ghana Stock Exchange. Bawumia intensifies grassroots campaign. New NIBMD had served as deputy since 2019. What's that supposed to explain? GRA boss poised to transform authority. The New Finder. Atlantic Lithium joins Ghana Stock Exchange in landmark listing of shares worth 649.6 million cedis. Strategic infrastructure investment vital for Africa's prosperity, Gabi. Digital infrastructure key to Africa's prosperity, President. 7 potential private developers inspect Saglemi houses. Daily Post. Nursing trainees at Bono East humiliate and shame Bawumia of Alawa. We should not import Western notions of womanhood to define us as Ghanaians, Professor Nana Jane tells Ghanaian women. Ablakwa shares more documents of sole source contracts awarded to the Bawumia brothers. The EC has encouraged the busing of people to registration centers and registration of minors. Economy Times. Banks fleece customers, peg APR above 40%. Cocoa prices fall by 2.5% to sell at $8,482 a ton in New York. Ghana records about $4 billion non-traditional exports in 2023. And that's about it. For the front pages, we'll be back shortly. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning, I have a legal practitioner who's also the Director of Legal Affairs of the NDC, Godwin Eduji Tamaklo. Eduji, good morning.
Good morning. Right. Good morning to your viewers.
Okay. Also with me on the show this morning is the Honorable Deputy Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, who's also the Member of Parliament for the Sisala East constituency, the Honorable Amidu Chinia Isahaku. Chinia, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Right. Okay. So this is the recommended toothpaste for the entire family. is of high quality and it's affordable, and it's called KEL 360 toothpaste. It's approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. KEL 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. KEL 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step up by constantly using KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste is another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso. It's available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 0246 864798. KEL 360 toothpaste. Happy, smile. And enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. The pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging irrespective of your age. But worry no more. Lift and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices. And guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lifts and Elevators at Sakuman, or just call them on 0200-535-515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. All right. Now, gentlemen, Honorable, where do you live in Accra? Don't give me the exact, which area?
Oh, I live around Parliament area.
Around Parliament?
Yes.
Okay. Eduji, where do you live?
The Eastern Corridor.
Okay.
So,
after University of Ghana?
yes.
Okay. You live on that part. Okay. I also live to this part of Accra, La. I live at La. Honorable, do you know La?
Yeah, I know that.
Okay. So I live at La. Now, I was on the line with some friends who live at what you want to call the western part of Accra towards the central region. So from Malam all the way to Kasua. So that's where you have Gan South, Gan West, and then a part of Anyaso too. And then you have Ewutu Senya, not so. Then you have Slice constituency.
English
Ibotiano. Okay. Now, I was on the phone with some friends from about 5 p.m. till I slept around 11 p.m. thereabout. And I woke up around 4:30 a.m. And I realized that I'd missed a lot of calls, and I saw messages and some videos. And they reached home after 3 a.m. when they left their offices, some after 5, some after 6 p.m. And what was the problem? Apparently, yesterday's rainfall. It wasn't the highest in recent times. I mean, normal rainfall.
Yeah.
Yet, there was a gridlock, and people from Malam up until to somewhere Kasua, I mean, people were in this gridlock for 9 hours. I mean, very crazy. And one of the videos that I saw this morning was from a businessman, Kwesi Taylor, who has sent me. He left his office at Kanda around 9 p.m. He did the video around 2 a.m. and he got home after 3 a.m. because he sent the video at 3:17 a.m. But this is something he shot whilst he was in the traffic at 2 a.m., having left his office at 9 p.m. Let's just watch it.
Wow. can you imagine the opposite side of the road? Because of the traffic, they've blocked the whole traffic. I'm at the top. Look at me. I'm at the top. And look at the down, the opposite side. The cars have taken over. Unbelievable. This is Ghana for you and the indiscipline. Look at that. Covered the whole top. The down. The opposite side is also covered with vehicles. Unbelievable. This is how crazy we are as a people. Look at that. More than Oshodi. More than we are in Nigeria. Look at this. This is ours. This is here. This is here. We are. This is us. And look at the opposite side where the cars are supposed to come from the opposite side. But look. All covered. So cars coming from the opposite side are using the way outer lane because blocked. Unbelievable. This is Ghana for you. Look at that. Unbelievable. I've stayed in traffic for almost 5 hours. Just from my office from Kanda to Makati, I've spent over 5 hours. I left the office at 9:30 and it's 2 a.m. now as we speak. It's 2 a.m. Look at the time. 1:53, almost 2 a.m. I left the office and I end. Look at this. Unbelievable. Look at this. My eyes are all dead. It's madness. Look at that. You have cars at the opposite side, also going in my direction. Unbelievable country. Look at that. So now we have almost about 8 lanes. Look at the outer lane of cars going. Look at that. And look at the other side. Jesus Christ. From 9:30 it's 2 a.m. and I haven't got to home yet. God save Mother Ghana. Look at that. So now we have, look at that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lanes. 6 lanes now. My God, 6 lanes. God bless my homeland, Ghana. And God should make some of us strong, because
yeah, live reporting from Old Barrier. From Westfield Small to Old Barrier. You can see the flood. People are stranded, they cannot go. This is very, very serious. Very, very serious. See, look at some people. This is serious. This is very, very serious. People are very, very stranded. They cannot go anywhere.
Okay, so what you just watched was earlier in the day around 4 p.m. And after just an hour or so of the rains, this is what had happened. And what you watched earlier was the businessman Kwesi Taylor, who was telling us, doing a citizen's report on his ordeal. I mean, whilst the video was showing, a retired referee, so Fletcher just sent me a text. He says, I moved from my office at 4:30 p.m. and got home at 2:30 a.m. You know, and In the case of Kwesi Taylor, he lives at just Botiano. So from Kanda to Botiano. And he left at 9:30 p.m., as he said, and he got home around 3:17
In fact, Randy, I should say, my friend Yao Baden said, I stayed close to Westways. I left office around 5 p.m. and got home 2 a.m.
From 5 p.m.?
Yeah, and got home 2 a.m. He just sent it to me. And the worrying trend is that 4 kilometer stretch? I strongly believe that our engineers...
Is it the old barrier place?
Yeah.
Now, monitoring the news, I get the impression that there are 2 or 3 issues at stake.
Yeah.
One has to do with silting, which is also as a result of sand winning. I mean, as for the fight against Galamsey, we know we have lost it, But sand winning.
That's just before you get to the towboat.
Yes.
From the top.
Yes.
Once it raises, it picks all the sand directly onto the road because it's low lying.
Behind the West Hills Mall is the Eden Heights real estate place. And then behind it, there's some development going on. And that's where the sand winning, we're told, happens. And so it washes down all the sand. Then we're told that there is also some construction going on. And they've diverted the waterway onto the road.
So the dualization immediately, so Randy, immediately after the dual carriage, after the Kaswa interchange.
Yes.
The stretch that ends, the road now becomes a single lane.
Yes.
Now that end of the single lane, because of the attempt to construct the dual carriage there, that whole place is now, the road is now just basically that single lane. This other stretch, you have a huge pit. And so that's really where the problem is. The last time I tried it, last 2 weeks, Sunday evening, I regretted it. You dare not try it. I don't know what, I strongly believe that engineers have the capacity to come up with some engineering solution to the problem.
Yeah, but what's the so look at this. Just look at this. Look at this. Just look at this. And this is just after an hour and a half rain. Just look at this. Honorable Deputy Minister.
Well, Randy, I think
is it incompetence, stupidity, tomfoolery, or what?
Well, let me say good morning to you and to my lawyer friend and to all those listening to us this morning. I think it's a combination of
all of them
factors.
Okay.
It's a combination of many factors because the indiscipline in our country is too much. There's also poor implementation of laws. Ghana has very nice laws, but when it comes to implementation, it's a different ball game altogether. And because of poor enforcement of law, people do things that eventually take everybody hostage. People, like you stated, sand winning is a necessary thing, but it must be done at the right place and professionally. But people just win sand everywhere and anywhere. And the assemblies that are supposed to have oversight responsibility in making sure that some basic rules are observed in matters of sand winning and other settlement and all that are not able to enforce these basic rules. People build anywhere they want, including waterways. Our challenges as a country, Randy, are too many. Lack of political will. Somebody is doing the wrong thing, and then when he's arrested, you either find the ruling party saying that it's our person and so nothing should be done, or you find the opposition complaining that he's been arrested because he's not a member of the ruling party. Both ways. And all that cumulatively leads to these problems that now eventually affect everybody. You go to some parts of the world, Randy, and waterways, natural waterways, are not tempted at all. But in Accra, people are building everywhere and anywhere. In spite of the fact that there are clear laid down rules and regulations, there are laws governing how settlements should be conducted. There are people in charge who are supposed to supervise, who are supposed to make sure
Just
that
look at this.
the right
Look
thing
at
is
this.
done.
Look at this. And this is sand from elsewhere. And a road constructed with hard-earned money, loans that we're still paying, or we just finished paying or something. And look at this. The activities of unscrupulous people. And you have people who are paid, and they look on sheepishly for this to happen. I mean, this, apart from the illegality that whoever is perpetrating, this is criminal negligence. How can you allow this?
And you see, Randy, the other thing, maybe from my latest study, will show that if you look at already the topology of
Yes.
Accra, it's already low-lying.
Yes.
Now, if you look at the various mountainous areas that are supposed to provide cover, the vegetative cover, what have we done? We've cleared all.
Everything's
now,
gone.
almost everybody wants to live on that, mountainous stretch. And so silt is coming in more into Accra. And look, that portion
We're
of,
complaining about how warm the country is.
and we are destroying all the vegetative cover. We are building more. We want to have a better view of Accra. But what we don't know is that the more you take the vegetative cover, the more you expose the surface.
Edwige, my
And so
problem,
the silt-
Edwige, my
so,
problem
I
is
mean,
that
it's-
there are people who know, and there are reasons why we zoned places. But especially the political elite, those in power, they continue taking advantage of rezoning for their selfish interest. And so you find a lot of these places, if you go and check, the original zoning, they didn't allow this. But they have done rezoning to enable all these things happen. Now, if there's sand winning, granted, we can't fight Galamsey, even with our entire military. We believe that we can fight terrorists, but we can't fight Galamsey. That's fine. That's another conversation. But sand winning, we are unable to fight sand winning. And then those who are tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that the right thing is done will join us and open the book of Lamentations and speak about how we must all be disciplined and we are not this and we are not that. If exhortation and lamentation and appealing to people's conscience and others were the thing, we will not create all those offices and pay people to run those offices and elect people. We will live in a jungle.
Randy, it's quite sad, painful.
Sand winning, we can't stop it.
And you see, Randy, that particular stretch, when you get there, just look on top of the mountain. Yeah. And somebody gave the permits.
Yes.
Because in this country, you can't win sand without authorization.
That is if they have the permits.
No, but
sand winning is mining.
Yes. So if you do not have the permit, then you are obviously engaged in an illegality. But we'll look on.
And we're told that there's some construction going on. I'm getting a news team to go and check on that as well. And that they've diverted the waterway because they are building some new drain or something.
Yeah.
So now the water comes on the road itself.
Direct. It's sad.
What is the meaning of this?
Famanyame.
we need to change our attitude. There's so much indiscipline in the system.
But that's why we have people and offices that are supposed to crack the whip. We anticipate that there will be indisciplined people. We anticipate that there will be lawless people. That in every society you would have delinquents and all those people. And that is why we create offices, we create laws, we create positions, we appoint people. So that they will be able to get these erring people to conform with societal norms.
So gradually, I mean, it's something we have to continue working on.
I think this is the construction. You see?
Probably the construction will also be a factor, I'm sure.
The dual distance.
Yeah, it will also be a factor. That is why I said it's a multiple of factors. And it appears that most of the roads leading Accra into the major capitals, we need to do more
And you know
on them.
this, a major international highway, it takes you straight to
Côte d'Ivoire.
Côte d'Ivoire. And so I strongly believe that our engineers, once again, would do something.
So you see, it's like they have blocked one side of the road.
You see, Honorable,
But we
usually-
need to rethink. You see, we need to also rethink urban transportation in this country. Look, please, for all our viewers and anybody interested, go check the latest population census. You will see that this part of Accra is growing faster than all other parts. I'm told that if you do a comparative analysis, rent is relatively more affordable in this western corridor than the eastern corridor and the other places. And so you have a lot of people living in those areas. So Anyas Soutum, English, Botiano, Ewutu Senya. You have a lot of people. So Ga West, Ga South, Anyas Soutum, English, Botiano, and Ewutu Senya. You have a lot of people living there. And if you look at the population census, if you take even Ewutu Senya out, just Ga South, Ga West, Anyas Soutum, and English Botiano, you're talking about 2 million.
Yeah.
If you check the population
In fact,
census,
if you look at
about 2 million persons
Randy, the constituencies,
living
even
there.
the constituencies within them, if you put their voter population together, you are getting to the numbers.
Yeah, close to
In fact,
2 million.
Do you know that that area alone, their total population is more than Upper East?
Yes.
It's
You're
more
about
than
2
the
million
whole
people.
region. You know. That's,
So what really is even the
dense.
transportation strategy, even for a place like that?
It's an overcrowded place. That needs
Densely populated.
special attention.
I mean,
you are within the sanitation ministry zone, right?
Yes.
Okay.
anyway. So that's it. And we are told that the rains will be upon us. This was not even that heavy, but we're told that till July. We should expect the rains till July. And this is just what happened yesterday.
So there has to be some immediate action. I mean,
As for the commuters, many of them, they had to, those who were in commercial vehicles,
And it's very frustrating.
they had to alight to walk. But for those who were driving their own vehicles,
Because I ever had an experience, I took a flight from Kumasi to Accra. Unfortunately, I got a car at the airport and I was driving myself to Amasaman. I was living there.
right?
And then there was a car had a breakdown and blocked the way. And in fact, my driver got to the house from Kumasi before I got
Traffic. Yeah.
So the frustration was so much. So I can imagine what those people went through yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very frustrating.
And Randy,
so
I
we
don't
need to-
know.
we
I
need
don't know.
to
Like
act
again,
promptly.
I always see some of these things to be engineering because you see that particular portion. This side is the Dinsu River, so there's nothing you can really do. But this other side, I'm just thinking if there is any way we can have a lot more of the bypasses, because usually when you have the bypasses, it takes much of the load
Of the main road.
from the main road. Look, the Tuba side, it used to be very terrible on the main Kasua Road until I remember in 2014 thereabout, the Tuba side was done. And so now when you move, it takes you right after Kasua before you join the main road. And it took off a lot
But
of
in yesterday's instance, for example, if the road was not this flooded
Yes.
and the sand had not cut off like half of the road, the vehicles will still be in a position to move. Because those who were coming from Cape Coast were locked up at a point, you know, and then those from Accra also were locked up at a point. And because those from Accra on their left side, for the oncoming vehicles, they saw the empty streets without realizing that it was because these guys were blocked. Others then moved and created like a 6-lane road when the other lane was for oncoming vehicles. So that even made it more chaotic. And our response, we didn't even see this as some security, a security nightmare or something. Our response to it. And it's like, it's nothing. I mean, yes, it's cool. Adiachi, it's fine. Everybody is fine. Life continues. And that's it. Until then there's another rainfall or, and sometimes these situations that you would want to see people like Chinia and Eduji involved in this thing for about, So when Chinia and your boss and other people, maybe Mr. President and others are involved in this, because this one, even your pin won't work.
No, that won't work.
Anyway.
When I saw one of the pictures, I feel strongly that the road construction is a major factor because you see that at a point they have blocked one part of the road.
Yes.
And all vehicles are diverted onto one lane. Which I believe is the major reason.
Thing. Because like Randy, I personally witnessed it the last time from Cape Coast side to Accra. It was so terrible. It was so terrible. I don't know what strategies the construction company had put in place. Usually for such roads, you want to do certain diversions outside so you can take some of the load from the main road. Maybe they need to speak to the public more because sometimes people just need to know that this is an option that I have if I'm not using this end. And that alone can take some of the pressure that we are seeing now.
Anyway, let's hope that I don't know, but just getting a lot of.
Aside everything, today happens to be your friend's birthday.
Who?
Emefa Hardcastle.
Hey, Council, but she's not in town. She's cruising somewhere.
Yes. So this one is added on cruise.
Oh,
so
this one there, I have to go and pass by Mommy's place.
It's important.
Flair, I get some nice show and a good conversation.
Fantastic.
But happy birthday to you, Council. Let me fire Castle. Happy birthday. I know you're chilling already. I see all the cruise and everything that's happening. But happy birthday to you from all of us. Okay. Right. So let's look at this story. And then there are issues about the CD and all that we'll look at later on. But Timothy Nember reports on the front page of Daily Graphic, Atlantic Lithium list on Ghana Stock Exchange, first greenfield company on Ghanaian Buzz. And Atlantic Lithium, the entity overseeing the Ewoyaa lithium project in the central region, became the first international green minerals company to list its shares on the Ghana Stock Exchange, coming 7 months after its subsidiary, Barari DV Ghana Limited, was granted the country's first lithium mining lease. Atlantic Lithium is initially offering shares valued at about 650 million cedis on a Ghanaian capital market with an indicative price of 4 cedis 40 pesos per share. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Jinapor, told the Daily Graphic yesterday that Atlantic Lithium had made history as the first greenfield company to list on the Ghana Stock Exchange. He also said the agreement between the state and the corporation was arguably the best approach to indigenizing the mining sector, enhancing value addition for all stakeholders. Quote, this feat is historic because it is the first time in the history of this country that a greenfield project has been listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. This is to say that a company that has just completed feasibility and about to start construction as listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. It is equally refreshing to note that the listing of the shares of Atlantic Lithium on the Ghana Stock Exchange is in fulfillment of a key conditionality in the mining lease, as stated clearly in the last paragraph under Schedule 2 of the mining lease. Okay. So Mr. Jinapor said by listing on the GSE, Atlantic Lithium had complied with the government's new policy initiative to indigenize the mining sector set out in Regulation 1E of the Minerals and Mining, Local Content and Local Participation Regulations 2020 LI 2431, which require that provisions be made to achieve and maintain a degree of participation for Ghanaians in the mining industry value chain. And he also said that these policy initiatives and laws have made it possible for Atlantic Lithium to list on the bourse by offering the shares on their stock exchange. So we are providing an opportunity for Ghanaians to participate and become owners in this project. Atlantic Lithium had already brought on board MIF as a new major strategic shareholder on January 24 this year, following a $5 million investment in Atlantic Lithium by way of share subscription. Okay. And MIF is expected to spend about $32.9 million in this project. Honorable, let me start off with you. Atlantic Lithium listed on Ghana Stock Exchange, and they say that it is a step in indigenizing the project and, of course, the find.
Well, before I go there, Randy, let me take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt appreciation to my constituency youth organizer. Mm-hmm. On Saturday, he, together with his team, organized a youth and TESCOM conference in the constituency, which was well attended. And at least it gave me a platform to share a lot of what we have been doing so far with the youth of the constituency. And I believe it's the beginning of the process to retain the seat and to ensure victory for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Desi Salayi. So my mass appreciation to the youth organizer and his organizing team for a very excellent Abbas Tondogo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Abbas Tondogo, your MP says thank you.
Now to...
But he's a caretaker MP. Okay. Yeah, he's a caretaker. My brother...
I wasn't expecting less.
Yes. My brother, Batagli, this time around, your 4 years is okay. The 4 years is okay.
No problem.
Yes.
You know, the interesting thing is that we are from the same community.
Yeah.
We vote at the same polling station. In fact, he's my grandfather. Like, traditionally, we are contemporaries, but traditionally he's my grandfather. So we are family.
Right.
And I mean, we are it's just a contest. A contest of ideas. And my lawyer friend wants the NDC to take the seat, but we'll see. We'll see what happens on September.
That's fine.
But it's going to be a brotherly contest and a friendly contest. I think the initiative of, in terms of the Ghana Stock Exchange, at least to give an opportunity to Ghanaians to participate in this particular agreement or contract that has been undertaken by a foreign company, will certainly open the frontiers and the benefits of this particular agreement. The problem I have a lot of the time is the fact that we engage foreign companies, and at the end of the day, they repatriate the biggest portion of whatever resources they exploit in the country. So, for instance, if a foreign company engages in a particular project, and at the end of the day, you are losing 60, 70, 80% of what comes out of it as capital flight into another country, then at the end of the day, it doesn't inure to the benefit of the people of Ghana. It doesn't add up to the economic development of Ghana. We should be able to enter into contracts or agreements that enhances the local economy more. You can't say that if a foreign company comes into your country, they should not make profit, they should not make gains. But the gain should not be at the expense of our country. And I believe that this particular initiative to list on the Ghana Stock Exchange and to allow Ghanaians to register and take part is going to enhance the benefits of this particular agreement. And I want to commend the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources and his team, because in my view, it's a contract or an agreement that has the potential of allowing a lot of Ghanaians to benefit. And so we have to commend him. Randy, like I said earlier, my biggest problem has always been the fact that there is so much repatriation of our resources. Most of the contracts that we enter do not help our economy in any way. The people just come and exploit, and then everything is taken away. So you see that a particular major activity is being taken place in your country, but it is creating employment and building other economies and not your economy. And such agreements are the reasons why we continue to be a developing country. They are the reasons why we have high unemployment. They are the reasons why we continue to be poor. They are the reasons why we continue to have a divisive society, because in a society that cannot take care of your people, you become divisive. I mean, people are not happy. People, become emotionally detached from society, and because there is high level of unemployment and they are not getting the needed support within the system. So we must begin to have a paradigm shift where we go into agreement with foreign partners, ensuring that we have more benefit to the state of Ghana and not more repatriation against the interests of Ghana. And I want to believe that this agreement, like stated by the minister himself, is a revolutionary one. Is a change from the normal agreements that we have seen in the past, even if it has shortfalls, but it is an improvement over previous agreement that we have to commend the ministry for engaging. But there's always room for improvement in whatever we do as a country. Even when you have done well, but you must still work hard to improve whatever advancement you have made. And so even though the agreement is an outstanding one, it's an elevation of our previous agreement, it's going to enhance more local participation, but we can always do more. So I will encourage the minister and his team to continue to work harder. If there are loopholes that can be worked on to make sure that the agreement, we have 70-80% benefit to the state of Ghana. That is where we are looking up to. Otherwise, we'll continue to use companies, will continue to use our economy to feed their economies. For instance, we buy a lot of rice into Ghana. We buy a lot of poultry products into Ghana. When we do that, we are creating employment in those countries where we are importing. Meanwhile, a lot of our young people can't find work. So if you have a foreign partner who decides to go into rice production in Ghana, definitely the value chain of a lot of employment opportunities that will be created, apart from reducing the import of rice into Ghana, you are going to enhance a lot of job opportunities within the state. And I think this particular agreement by the the Ministry of Lands and Forestry is in that direction. I have not had the opportunity to study the whole agreement. So apart from listening to the Ghana Stock Exchange, the real work on the ground, I don't know the level of participation of Ghana or Ghanaians in the agreement, but listening to the minister, who has consistently stated that this agreement is an improvement over previous agreement that we have seen in the past. I just hope that apart from listing the Ghana Stock Exchange to allow Ghanaians to participate, the actual exploitation and in terms of employment, in terms of apart from taxes, what should come to Ghana as our share of this investment should all add up to enhancing our economy and not building an economy outside our country.
Randy, obviously when this lithium matter came up, the NDC had a position on it. And our position at that time is that we felt that at all material time, whatever agreement that government of Ghana signs with anybody should have the mechanism that will not reflect the Gordonsburg Mineral Resources Agreements, an agreement that would ensure that Ghana becomes the ultimate beneficiary. Randy, as you are aware, if you compare Obuasi to Johannesburg, the difference is like night and day. But look at the years that we have, as it were, undertaken mining activities in Obuasi, much the same as Johannesburg, and see the level of development. The belief is that the kind of mineral agreements that we've had over the years have tended not to, as it were, be beneficial to our people. And much more, the development of the communities where these mineral resources are. And so I recall vividly when this lithium matter came up, community members in the central region were up in arms. And they were not happy because they wanted to see how well this is going to benefit them. And so the conversation has always been about benefit, 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 benefit. Now, the issue of having to list on the stock exchange, oftentimes the question comes up, who eventually gets to, as it were, participate in these stock activities? Again, are they the same people who have led the conversation to where we find ourselves? Is it something that is open up to as many of our compatriots? That, for me, is key. Ordinarily, having to list on the stock exchange should be a welcoming news in the sense that at the end of the day, you want to see a certain level of capital retention in the country. And I've always made the point, the more capital we retain from these companies, the more stable even our local currency will be. Because most of the time, the nature of the capital flights, it undermines a lot more what happens to our local currency. And so if we have gotten to the point where today, what shall I say, the lithium mining agreement, we have a situation where this. But first of all, even in the 1990s, I remember that Ashanti Goldfields was listed, right, on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Yes. How did it change the conversation? Randy, after listing the Ashanti Goldfields on the Ghana Stock Exchange, which I think opened around 96, thereabout, what has really been the benefits to us because we had Ashanti Goldfields listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange? So it is not just enough to list, because we have experimented this before in the past. And what has really been the transformation, either the communities where these mining communities are, or Ghana as a whole, simply because we have had these companies listed on the stock exchange. I do not want to discount the benefit of a very vibrant stock exchange. I do not want to do that. But come to think of it, the experiment in the past and now, what useful lessons have we learned relative to some of these activities? And today, it is only when we can, by way of data and among other things, really do the cost benefit. I think we'll just be going in circles. So I for now, I would say it's a welcoming news, but with the benefit of subsequent data, we will do further interrogation of this. All
right. Okay. So on the earlier discussion, the Honorable Neil Ante-Van-Der-Poel is the MP for Dodo, but as one of the key residents in the area that we're talking about, says that his wife spent 7 hours in traffic yesterday. He says he's asked questions on this perennial problem twice in Parliament, and nothing has been done about it. So that has to do with the issue about the Western Corridor and the gridlock we witnessed yesterday, and the fact that the Meteo says that there will be more rains till July. We'll take a break. When we return, the Olympic Games is in June, June. So next month or so in Paris. Okay, but it appears that the CD is really sprinting more than any of the sprinters who will be competing in the 100 meters at the Olympics. We'll come back and see if the CD really will end up breaking Usain Bolt's record. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And still with me on the show, I have Godwin Eduji Tamaklo and the Honorable Amedu Chinia Isahaku. But what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, I was God the Mola, God the Power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the GamePad Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the website at www.gamepadgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Charlie, we could play this game and make some mola. Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. GamePad Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by a National Lottery Authority and is not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Ayesoko, that could somebody damn be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. It's not for persons under 18 and is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. And Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best. Blue Jeans Energy Drink is for bold and active men and women. So go and grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. Budget, and you can reach Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 or 055 001 0000. Okay. Now, it appears that some people are taking advantage, Honorable, of the situation that happened there, because I got a message from a banker. His name is Abraham Ferguson. And he says, in fact, I left the office. He's Eduji's very close friend. In fact, he's one is the supreme leader, one is the director of FTs. You know? He says, in fact, I left the office at 6 p.m. and got home at 5 a.m.
Meanwhile,
the traffic was too much. So this man lives on the
western
side of Accra.
And there's no traffic.
You know, and he's situating himself inside there.
This guy's a thief.
Ferguson.
I'm even scandalized. I'll reach out to the wife.
So it looks like there are some people who have told their families that they went to do a meeting on that side. So they were caught. They came at 5 a.m.
Maybe he went for some outreach program.
Banking. Outreach in banking.
Yes.
Well, is he going to take customer deposit?
Oh, if I forget seeing the banker.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so let's talk about the CD. There are a few issues that have come up, and is quite worrying now. Now, on the 9th of May, Bloomberg published that the Ghana cedi is in a record-breaking weakening cycle. Says the currency hasn't gained versus the dollar in the past 22 trading sessions, the longest streak according to data compiled by Bloomberg going back to 1994. The cedi traded 0.3% weaker at 13.9310 by 1 p.m. in London. Has declined 14% this year, a slump beaten only by currencies that have been devalued, including the Egyptian pound and Nigerian naira. The slide has been fueled by a slump in cocoa earnings, with exports dropping by nearly a third to $508 million in the first 2 months of the year due to adverse weather, disease, and fertilizer shortages. Despite a temporary surplus in 2023, Ghana's historical current account deficit is also resurfacing, signaling further challenges to the cedi. That's according to Gejli Amose, who's an emerging market strategist at Societe Generale. The cedi's forward curve calculation sees the currency breaching its record low of 14.6174 per dollar by the third quarter, ending the year at 15.98. FX forward pricing is calculated based on the spot rate and interest rate differentials between the two. Okay, so this was the Bloomberg report. Now, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, has also issued a statement. And this statement was issued yesterday, I believe. No, in fact, it's today. It's today. Today, 14th of May. So this morning. Press statement. The depreciation of the cedi is creating a big mess for the business community. And the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, expresses deep frustration over the current depreciation of the cedi, which is creating a big mess for the business community, especially the trading sector. This seeming crisis, coupled with the ever-rising freight charges from Asia, are rendering the cost of doing business unbearable. The current state of affairs has far-reaching implications and has caused prices of goods and services to increase for the consuming public. The inflationary pressures resulting from the depreciating cedi have pushed the cost of goods through the roof, making it increasingly difficult for businesses to stay afloat. The purchasing power of the consuming public has also been affected, thereby reducing the turnover of businesses. Repayment of loans to the bank has become extremely difficult. The rising freight charges, compounded by customs duties benchmarked in dollars at the port, are crippling trade and commerce, leading to untold hardships for businesses and consumers alike. It has increased unpredictability of forecast of businesses. The value of credit purchases increases, thereby making it very difficult for traders to repay the goods bought from the overseas suppliers, leading to higher indebtedness to businesses. GUTA hereby calls on the government to take urgent measures to save this alarming situation from getting out of hand. GUTA expresses its readiness to collaborate with the government and other stakeholders on this issue, and is signed by Dr. Joseph Obeng, who's president of GUTA. Okay. That's the Ghana Union Traders Associations. Now, on page 29 of the Daily Graphic, today's edition of Daily Graphic, move to stabilize cedi. Government BOG urged to avert leakage of foreign remittances. And Kwame Lawe reports that banking expert Dr. Richmond Atuahine has called on the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana to ensure that fintechs, or financial technology service providers, and money transfer companies, MTCs, in the international remittances space reimburse Bank of Ghana's Nostro accounts or an authorized dealer, such as a commercial bank with foreign exchange components of all foreign exchange accrued. He said this will help reduce the current accounts deficit and also help to stabilize the local currency against major trading currencies such as the United States dollar, euro, and UK pound sterling. Reacting to an assurance by the BOG governor, Dr. Ernest Addison, that the cedi will stabilize against the US dollar and other major currencies, Dr. Atuahine said, despite the assurance, the governor did not provide a clear-cut strategy on how the cedi will stabilize against the major trading currencies. At the First Bank Ghana Gala night last Thursday, Dr. Addison told the media that the Ghana cedi will stabilize against the US dollar and other major foreign currencies. According to him, the central bank is doing everything possible to keep the exchange rate from front stable. Quote, the governor says he will do everything possible for the cedi to stabilize against the dollar and other major foreign currencies, but he didn't provide a clear-cut strategy on how he's going to do that. Dr. Atuahine told the Daily Graphic Business in an interview yesterday. And according to him, per the Foreign Exchange Act of 2006 at 723, it's only the Bank of Ghana which has authorized dealership to receive international remittances, including financial institutions. It has instructed to do so. And it goes on and speaks about what the Bank of Ghana should do, and also about the Payment Service Act, which also deals with this issue. Now, in a related event, now everybody is proffering solutions on it. Now, Professor Bokpin also says that CD can only stabilize temporarily, but will keep on depreciating. He says Hayes raised that issue as well. But I've seen a story also attributed to Dr. Akwachi of the IEA. And he has an interesting proposal. He says that we should dollarize the economy. I'll try and get that story pretty shortly. I had it in my stuff this morning. Okay, so that's it. And he's the Director of Research at the Institute of Economic Affairs, Dr. John Kwabena Akwachi, and he suggested adopting the dollar as Ghana's currency to stabilize the economy. Because stabilizing the economy is not rocket science. If we feel we cannot maintain the cedi, let us abandon it and adopt the dollar. Let us dollarize the economy. And he suggested this on Saturday during a discussion on Accra-based television station. He, however, said the dollarization of the economy should be a temporary measure until it rebounds, after which Ghana can create its currency. Dollarization is when a country begins to recognize the US dollar as a medium of exchange or legal tender alongside or in place of its domestic currency. Says dollarization occurs when the local currency has become unstable and began to lose its usefulness as a medium of exchange for market transactions. For dollarizing countries, advantages include lower administrative costs, a firm basis for a sounder financial sector, and lower interest rates. Disadvantages include the loss of monetary autonomy, seniorage, a vital national symbol, a greater vulnerability to foreign influence. And he also proposed that the central bank be converted into a currency board as another option for economic stabilization. In a currency board system, the local currency is anchored to a foreign currency. That's a reserve currency, and the exchange rate is strictly fixed. A currency board does not influence monetary policy, but relies on supply and demand, issuing notes and coins and providing fixed rate conversions to the anchor currency. And it bemoaned the government's failure to implement the many alternatives available to it, preferring to collateralize the country's assets for loans. Unfortunately, we are being driven by the IMF program, so there's very little we can do. We are bound by their policy, and breaching it will attract sanctions. If we were following and implementing the right policies, we would not have been here in the first place. He described the recent exit of some foreign companies from the country as shocking, and he says that it will have severe consequences for the already struggling economy. Eduji.
Yes, boss. You see, Randy, whilst you were reading, I was making some notes. I think that we are back to the same point.
Which point?
And the point is that we've wasted 7 years doing nothing about the fundamentals of the economy. We've wasted 7 years doing absolutely nothing. Because you see,
we forget about the lecture, restoring the value of the cedi.
Exactly where I was going. Because if you look at the lectures of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia at Central University and the wild claims that were made, and if you look at the result, the scorecard today, it clearly puts the matters in proper perspective, that we have wasted 7 years, and never again should the destiny of this country be toyed or joked with. Look, the NPP, under the watch of Dr. Bawumia, idea of stabilizing the Ghana cedi is borrowing, and borrowing. And so, right from 2017, they had to do 2.25 billion Franklin Templeton bonds. The next year, they now went into the Eurobond market itself. And in the space of 5 years, have done $11 billion of Eurobond. What has been the appetite for Eurobond? To provide an artificial strength for the Ghana cedi in the past year. And so, immediately when, in 2022, the various credit rating agencies, looking at how unsustainable our debts have become, decided to downgrade us, the cedi went to the roof, going as far up to almost 17, and then came down subsequently. Now, what has been the underlying causes? When you have a situation where you shore up your reserve with borrowed funds, anytime that the reserve goes down, you have these kind of challenges. And that is what it is. Because you see, Randy, you would notice that immediately the credit rating agencies downgraded us, and the international Eurobond market was locked up relatively, what we had to do was for Bank of Ghana to step in and started printing more money for the administration. And so we did in excess of 40 billion Ghana cedis, equivalent to the $2 billion that we're doing annually to fill in the gap. And so if you watch the dynamics, there's nothing really that can be done. And in fact, if you listen to the governor of Bank of Ghana on Thursday, he did not suggest any strategy beyond the hope that the $200 million borrowing from the ECOWAS Bank for Development or whatever, and the additional $300 million from the IMF program, and hopefully the ability to syndicate some loan with Cocoa Board by September. That is the only source of salvation or hope that this administration is building. Curiously, Randy, as we speak, the chair of the economic management team has abandoned his job and is on the campaign trail. He's out there chasing the wind. He's completely left the core job. In fact, his own boss told us that the reason why he's bringing him is that, well, he, even though he studied economics at the university, did not make a trade out of economics. And so he was going to rely on the mind, the vision of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. What has been the scorecard of Dr. Bawumia handling this economy in the past 7 years? It has been one problem with the economy after the other. As we speak, we are battling with inflation already. We are battling with high interest rates or lending rates in the banks. We are battling with high unemployment rates. Randy, not long ago, we saw 5 major multinationals leaving Ghana outside. And the analysis is very simple. If you are a multinational, and as of 2016, your revenue, total revenue was, say, maybe 10 million Ghana cedis. For that multinational, it gave them almost $2 million or more. Today, that same 10 million Ghana cedis gives that multinational company $700,000. That's loss in value. And as for our brothers and sisters from Guta, the pain is even more serious. Because, Randy, look at the situation where you are an importer. You are bringing, spare parts. You are bringing Obroniwa into the country. And so in 2016, Randy, if you had 1 million Ghana cedis, it was going to give you $250,000 worth of Obroniwa. that you would have brought into the country, sell, make your profit, and then move on with your life. Now, because of the depreciation of the cedi, supervised by Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, you have a situation where the same 1 million Ghana cedis can only buy $70,000 worth of Obroniwawu. And so that woman who is selling Obroniwawu at Okanshi or Kantamanto is saying the direct effect of the incompetence of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. I am not surprised at all that today he no longer speaks to matters on the economy. He's busy with digitalization and serious jokes. And what we should all recognize is that, look, in the past 7 years, people's wealth, the toy, have completely been wiped away by this administration. And one would expect that in such crisis, leadership response will be some seriousness. But what have you seen, Randy? What have we seen by way of leadership response to the crisis that we are facing? The funniest that I've seen so far is that you have a situation where MPP leadership organizes a program and gives the vice president a steer. That person who is at Kantamanto, Okanshi, who wants to go and do a major import, is busily looking for money. He has to bring in more Ghana cedis in order to get few dollars. These are the concerns of people. And you would expect that the current managers of the economy, led by Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, will show some seriousness. That exactly is not what we are saying. And that is why I am not surprised that Guta would issue a statement basically pleading with government and duty bearers that you've taken your eyes off the ball. And by reason of you taking your eyes off the ball, we are suffering. There's so much pain in the country. And so, Randy, we have gotten to a point where, and I've always maintained, if you vote for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, he has no new ideas. In fact, he himself has told his boss, in fact, the boss has told us that if you want to rely on me to salvage this sinking ship, I cannot do anything about it. And as for the president himself, he's checked out. He's in the country, but he's not here. The entire economy is on autopilot. How can a government legitimately say that our solution to this problem is relying on borrowed funds? I remember MPP in opposition, Madam Eslausu. He said if governance was all about borrowing, her 19-year-old son could be the president of the republic or could lead this country. Today, if you ask all MPP members, what are you going to do, as it were, to stop the depreciation of the Ghana cedi? Oh, we are expecting $200 million from ECOWAS Bank. We are expecting $300 million from IMF. How did we get here, Randy? How did we get to these sorrowful states where today people cannot even plan? That brings to fore the campaign promise H.E. John Dramani Mahama made when he met Guta, the Association of Importers and Exporters. And he makes the point that, listen, because of this rapid depreciation, you're unable to plan. And that with the benefit of political power, one of the things that we want to consider is giving you a fixed rate Not the flat rate as proposed by Dr. Bawumia, but a fixed rate. So that if in 6 months we know that Guta people have a special arrangement to get the dollar at, say, 9 Ghana cedi to $1, for the next 6 months, that is what it's going to be. So that you can properly plan your life. Because research shows that that is far better than the flat rates that is being proposed. So you have a situation where H. John Dramani Mahama is promising, Randy, that will give you a fixed rate for the purposes of planning, predictability in the next 6 months. So that after the 6 months, depending on the state of the economy, a board will sit and review, factoring all kinds of factors to ensure that these businesses do not suffer like it is going on now. At this rate, Randy, I am afraid, and I say this, that the way things are going, by July, the Ghana cedi will be doing beyond 15 cedis. Some people have suggested that it's already 15 cedis, depending on where you get it. But in terms of official communication, my fear is that if we are not careful, by June, July, we'll be doing the Ghana cedi at 16, 15 Ghana cedi to $1. Randy, imagine having a mortgage facility in dollars and you having to service it. I have a business friend who decided to take a facility outside for a business in Ghana. He said the depreciation of the cedi is giving him blood pressure and headache. And there's no end in sight. So I think the time had come. I don't remember the last time Bawumia chaired any of the economic management team again. The time had come that he must stop what he's doing, come back, and offer solutions. Because you see, he's still the vice president of the republic. You see, the impression is being created that he has been reshuffled. No. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is still the vice president of the republic. He has not left the job to someone else. And I strongly believe that with the benefit of 5 technical advisors, he should come up with some bold solution. And let me emphasize, bold solution to arrest the dollar, and not the rapid depreciation that we are seeing. These are worrying, seriously worrying times. And the earlier a solution, we get a solution to this problem, the better it will be for the economy, Randy. I am worried.
Honorable, help us.
Randy.
Bold solutions.
Well, first of all, I think that the situation is something that we need to sympathize with the business community. Because whatever that happens that do not inure to the benefit of the people that you lead, you have to sympathize with them. And of course, the depreciation of the cedi against the dollar affects the business community, and by extension, it affects every Ghanaian. Because when the business community is affected and they have to add more money or they have to inject more capital into their businesses, that additional injection of capital and higher prices will be passed on to the final consumer, which is the ordinary Ghanaian. And so I will not sit here to want to push an agenda that suggests that things are, everything is well. Once the cedi depreciates against the dollar, it means that a Ghanaian businessman must find more cedi to buy the dollar. It also means that the capital of the Ghanaian businessman will be affected. And so the amount of goods that probably you would have imported in the past may not necessarily be the same. And so it is a worrying trend that every Ghanaian must be interested in. But Randy, what sometimes surprises me is the attitude of our friends in the NDC. I mean, it is not as if you have not been there before. You have been there before. And your record is an open secret. And comparatively, I mean, even under these difficult circumstances, this 8 years or 7 years plus of the MPP government still is better than the 8 years under President Mills and Mahama in terms of, CD-dollar relationship. I mean, if you look between 2009 to 2016, the 8 years of the NDC, when Mahama was vice president and subsequently president, the average depreciation of the cedi in the 8-year period was 13.9%. As it stands today, the cedi depreciation against the dollar in the last 7 years is still lower than this average depreciation under the NDC that we recorded. It's still lower. Sometimes, I mean, you can coerce or you can try to paint the picture because the nominal value of the cedi against the dollar is going higher. People may be tempted to believe that it is the worst situation. But if you do the real measuring of the cedi depreciation against the dollar under the 8 years NDC and against what we are experiencing now, in averages, it was worse under the NDC. And the cumulative depreciation of the cedi under the NDC, there are 8 years, against today. Between 2009 to 2016, the cedi cumulative depreciation was 71.1% cumulatively. In the last 7 years, the cumulative depreciation under our government is 64.6%. I am not by this suggesting that, I mean, things are good. But because of lawyer Tabakulo,
I was asking you to send your cumulative depreciation to Abosokai.
No, Randy, we are doing.
And Okanshi.
We are. I mean, but it's important.
And Edum.
It's important. Those are.
Honorable bias in averages and percentages.
You guys, you should allow me to talk.
Okay, go ahead.
When you were talking, I listened to you quietly.
It's okay.
Randy, I have said that I sympathize with Ghanaian traders, business people, and by extension, the whole of Ghana. Because when the cedi depreciates against the dollar, it affects everybody. No doubt about that. And the current situation is not different. That the cedi depreciating against the dollar does not have an effect on the living conditions of Ghanaians. I mean, it has. It has adverse effect on businesses. It has adverse effect on individual Ghanaians. But I am saying that these people who are seeking to replace us in government, their record shows that if their record is what we are to go by, their last 8 years, then it means that the situation would have been worse than it is. And you are talking about averages and cumulative depreciation in their time when we didn't have a global pandemic like COVID. I mean, the international community was normal. I mean, everything was normal across the globe, and yet they could not manage the cedi against the dollar. Today, in spite of the global meltdown, all economies across the globe, their currencies are being affected. Banks are go to US, banks are being closed down. And this same Bloomberg report tells us that Nigeria has the worst. In fact, the naira has depreciated against the dollar by 55%. It's the worst. So Ghana, even in this situation, is still better than them. Today in Nigeria, $1 is to 1,600 naira. 1,600 naira to a dollar.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Ghana is doing better than a lot of countries. That same report that we are referring to.
But the report mentions the countries.
Yes, and I'm just telling you one of them. But the point, I'm just saying that Ghana is still doing better than other countries. And Randy, when we are discussing matters of this nature, let's look at the global situation. Ghana is not an island. And Ghana is not standing alone. Global effects have an impact on our economy. And that is why I'm saying that the NDC, with their worst record, did not even experience the kind of global challenges that we are experiencing today, yet they were worse. It means that if you replay NDC to today, they would have been doing worse. Even if you bring that record and put in place of MPP's record, it's worse. Which, by extension, even suggests that if they were confronted with the situation MPP government is confronted today, they would have been doing worse. Now, the truth of the matter is that Ghana was supposed to earn, we're expected to earn about $508 million from our cocoa earnings. And this drop certainly has affected our situation. If you also look at the report, they have suggested that for Ghana and Zambia, this is a quote, delays in reaching a debt restructuring agreement with private creditors is likely weighing on capital flow. This is part of the report.
Yes.
Yes, so because currently...
But who's responsible for that?
The government is responsible.
Yeah.
But, of course, it means that when this matter is resolved, I'm just trying to let you know that the situation will improve. It is not the best as we expect, but it will improve when this major hurdle is crossed. My brother, Lawyer Tamaklo, will not admit to this, or he will not point to these facts as indicated in the report.
Which facts?
Yeah, this is, I mean, if I have quoted something, Ghana and Zambia, this is a quote from the report. For Ghana and Zambia, the delays with reaching a debt restructuring agreement with private creditors, which you are well aware of, is likely weighing on capital. And once there is the capital flow is affected, of course, there will be pressure and there will be speculation.
Are you aware that the flip side of what you just read is the fact that you are not servicing your external debt? The thing that you have not reached an agreement on, you have also not been servicing from November 2022.
That is not the subject we are discussing.
How is it not?
No. We are talking about depreciation of the cedi, and I'm telling you one of the reasons, a reason that has been stated by even the people who have come out with the report.
I'm surprised that you think they are not related. You are talking about the fact that we have not reached an agreement with our external creditors, not so. As a reason.
Yes.
And I'm just telling you.
I am not saying it. That is what the report is saying.
No problem. But you decided to rely on it.
Yes.
And I'm also asking you whether you appreciate...
I am not.
Chief,
I am not.
Chief, whether you appreciate the flip side, that this same lack of agreement, what it also means is that from November 2022, a critical component of your forex expenditure, which is the service of your external debt, has not been happening.
And I'm saying that it's a what is it? I am telling you the reason why, as pointed out in the report, why we are experiencing what we are experiencing now. I mean, that is what you are saying is a fact, but I mean, for me, it's not related to the point I'm making. The point I am making is that there is a reason why we are where we are. And that has been stated in the report, which I have quoted. And you don't dispute that.
Yes.
That is a reason. I have also given a second reason, that the drop in our cocoa earnings by $508 million has also affected our situation. I'm just trying to let you know some of the reasons that have accounted for this situation.
So one of the reasons is the drop in commodity prices, not so?
Yes.
What you read?
Yes.
Okay.
So
are you aware that...
Randy, I think you should allow me to... You allow my colleague to make his submission.
I like to learn from... I like to learn from...
He was making inaccurate statements, but you didn't...
but you have...
No.
Assume that... Honorable.
You see, when you have a platform like this, and you allow one to flow the way he wanted with the interjection, and then the other person is being interjected, it affects the flow of the person.
So honorable.
So I think that you allow me to make my submission. Because at the end of the day,
I've heard you. Hold on.
At the end of the day,
Yes.
the discussion we are having here,
Yes.
it's not for the purposes of the three of us here. People are listening to us.
Yes.
They will make their own interpretations. They will accept some of my views or disagree with some. They will accept some of his.
Yes.
So you should allow, just as you allow him to follow, allow me to also have my take.
So honorable, I hear all what you have said. In all the things that you said, he made statements that were not factually accurate. In your submission, have you pointed to one or corrected one of them?
I'm coming there.
Okay.
But I haven't finished talking.
Okay. So yes,
I haven't finished talking.
because I want to assume that I am not intelligent enough to have identified those ones. So I want to hear you.
I haven't said that. Maybe you are saying it. You are saying it.
No, I said it. I'm not saying you said it.
My friend said that the 7 years of MPP has been a wasted one. Is that right?
Is it?
So you should have. How can he? They can be challenges with the system, but you can't say that the 7 years of MPP, in terms of restoring the fundamentals of the economy, is a wasted one. I mean, it takes a lot of time. The countries that we have, like America, UK, and all those powerful countries, it didn't happen in 7 years.
Really?
It didn't happen in 10 years. The economies didn't get where they are in 10 years or even 20 years. They have done this several years, over 50 years, some 100 years, to get where they are. And so it may not take a government to change the fundamentals of an economy in 7 years. But the process you put in place as a beginning will tell whether subsequently or many years to come, the foundation you are laying has the potential of changing the fundamentals of the economy. And for me, what President Akufo-Addo and the MPP government has started in terms of 1D, 1F, somebody can downplay it today. But the long-term effect of 1D, 1F on changing the fundamentals of Ghana is huge. It may not be yielding the kind of results that we expect within this period. But we all know that for you to change the economy of a country, you need to be self-dependent. You need to be able to create your own industries, your own factories, and be able to produce alternative goods that you are importing so that you can rely on your local economy and probably pressure on dollar and other foreign currencies to import. Once it is reduced drastically, your economy will be normalized. And there are a good number of factories that have been started under this government. It is the step to correcting the fundamental mistakes that we have in our economy.
What has been the impact of those factories?
And that is why I am saying that the impact may not be felt hugely today, but it is the process to leading to correcting that fundamental challenge that we have. And the truth is that there are numerous factories that have been started. People have been employed in those factories. They have started producing various items and supporting the local economy. But it is not to the extent to stop the level of importation that we have. But my belief is that with these processes in place and with time, if we are able to maintain and expand these 1D, 1F, projects that have been started, that is the way to correct the fundamental challenges in our economy. For anybody to say that in the last 7 years, nothing has been done.
My only difficulty, Honorable, is that I keep asking this question all the time when this issue of 1D, 1F comes up. And I always like it to be supported with data. If it is import substitution, what is it? Is it 0.5%? Is it 1% in area A or area B? Such that we know that we are on course.
Well,
I am tired of using the gas plant as an example, because I don't believe that you need 10 or 15 or 20 years to be able to demonstrate that an industrialization policy, which is 5 or 6 years old, is benefiting you and shows demonstrable demonstrable evidence that that is in fact the way to go, and that in the next 5 to 10 years, this is what it will achieve. It should be possible to show
the gas plant that example will probably be, for me, if we had not discovered oil, and the processes to discovering oil took so many years. We didn't just, we couldn't have established a gas plant without discovery of oil. So the processes from even before PNDC and NDC and KUFOR, before we discovered oil and all that, it's part of the process leading to the gas plant.
But we have been.
It's a chain. It's a value chain.
We have been planting tomatoes.
The gas plant.
We have been planting tomatoes.
The gas plant is a part,
Chief,
of a whole.
Chief,
value chain.
We have been planting tomatoes before we found oil.
Yes.
Yes. But our importation of tomato-related products has gone past the roof.
Well, but you know that.
What is used to produce
that
oil, cooking oil. We've had those long before.
You see, Randy, what you also need to appreciate is that there is population growth. The numbers we had 10, 20 years ago is not the same. So just as you are striving to locally produce, because of growth in population, probably you will still not meet the demands and you have to keep importing. I will always admit that the pace at which we are industrializing is slow. The pace at which the 1D, 1F is supposed to flow to change our economy is slow. But the fact also still remains that whole concept and what has been started is the surest way to changing the economic fundamentals. We may disagree with the processes, we may disagree with the pace of how things are going, but it is the surest way. And you mentioned tomatoes. There is a factory that is producing, but probably the quantities that are being churned out are still low. And so we need expansion of those 1D, 1F projects, and we have to build on it. And I will not shy away from the fact that probably we could have done better, or we could have gone at a faster pace than we have done. But I will insist that the way to changing our fundamental situation is the 1D, 1F. People can disagree with the mode of implementation, the concept itself. You can disagree with those things, but that is the solution to our problems. Until we are able to industrialize various sectors of our economy, so that we can produce consume what we produce locally, and reduce drastically what we import, our economy will always be at the behest of foreign economies. That is something we can't run away from. So for my friend to suggest that 7 wasted years, why do we want to celebrate people after they are dead? You can accept that something is being done, but probably you don't agree with the pace. Or you think you could have done better. I don't have a problem with that. But to say that 7 wasted years, when you know there is 1D, 1F projects all over, some existing companies have been supported and they are doing better than they were doing. Some new ones have been set up and they are working. Is there not a tiles factory set up under 1D, 1F? Is it not working?
Which one?
Tiles. They produce tiles in Ghana.
Which one?
I think it's
the one in the Western region.
Yes.
But that company was not set up under 1D, 1F.
Well,
If you claim
look,
Kelechi will be so angry.
Well, the concept, I have said that the concept of 1D, 1F is to support existing factories to grow and to also create new ones. So whether it is supporting an existing one or establishing a new one, the concept is that we have to industrialize so that we can grow, so that we can become self-reliant. And that effort has been started. I don't have a problem with my friend and his party disagrees at the pace or at the concept, but even they, by mistake, even have the power to govern Ghana. The way forward is industrialization. The way forward is the setting up factories and industries. That is the only way we can become a self-reliant. Until we are able to rely on our own resources, we cannot do much. Now, you see, Randy, I always have a problem when these people, they have the opportunity, and all what they do is to be attacking Dr. Bawumia, calling him a liar and saying all kinds of. If it is about promises and not fulfilling, that makes you a liar and that makes you ineligible to become a president, then President Mahama is worse off. Go and look at 2013 manifesto of the NDC. Bawumia is not president, or he's vice president, he's part of somebody. And you think that some of the statements that he made, which have not been fulfilled or which have been defeated, means that he's a liar and he cannot be president. Then President Mahama, who became a president on a manifesto Ghanaians accepted and voted for him, many of which he couldn't fulfill, does not even deserve to come close. President Mahama told us that he was going to construct a railway line from Accra through Tuwa to Hamele so that we could export and all those things. In the 2013 manifesto of the NDC, 2012, did he do it? He said he was going to build 10 new teacher training colleges. Did he do it? He said he was going to introduce MP's development fund to replace MP's common fund. He didn't do it. He said he was going to build offices in all the 230 constituencies then for MPs. He did so many of them. These are things contained in the NDC 2012 manifesto upon which Ghanaians elected President Mahama as president. So if there's any lying person, if there's anybody who tells lies, if there's any Ghanaian politician who has unfulfilled promises, President Mahama is number one. These are major promises. He said he was going to pay assembly members. It's all contained in NDC manifesto. And I can count them. If you want, I'll open and read them to you. Things contained in 2012 NDC manifesto upon which Ghanaians elected Mahama as president of Ghana. He became president for 4 years, and most of them, he didn't even start.
You mean 2016?
No, I'm talking about 2012.
Okay.
2012 manifesto of the NDC. Okay. These things I'm mentioning, railway from Accra to Hamele, is 2012 manifesto of the NDC. 10 colleges of education, I'm sure that at that time, the 10 regions, each one will get one. Not one was started. He was going to replace MP's common fund with MP's development fund. It's in their manifesto. He was going to pay assembly members. He was going to elect, MMDCs. He was going to put a cap on the number of Supreme Court judges. All those things are contained in the 2012 manifesto of the NDC. He became president. He had that manifesto. He didn't even touch any of them. You see, I don't have problem if Bawumia has said something that turns out to not to be the case. You can criticize him. But the way our NDC friends goes trying to describe Bawumia as a liar, as somebody who is deceptive, as somebody who cannot be trusted. I mean, if it is about unfulfilled promises of politicians, like I said, maybe we may have to do a comparative analysis of Mahama against Dr. Bawumia. And in this case, we are even doing it as Bawumia as vice president, Mahama as president. And so if that is the basis on which Ghanaians should elect a president, I can tell you that Mahama is worse and should not even come near becoming president of Ghana again.